Let's get you the headlines. Heading home, the American soldier Travis King, who fled to North Korea in July, is now back in U.S. custody. Hundreds gather for the first funerals of the victims of a fire at an Iraqi wedding in which around 100 people were killed. The largest untapped oil field in the UK gets the go-ahead. Hundreds of jobs could be created, but environmental campaigners say it's reckless. US Republican presidential hopefuls face off at Ronald Reagan's Presidential Library for the second debate.
And former President Donald Trump skips the debate again to visit blue-collar workers in Detroit, where a strike against 3 car makers continues. Plus, the US government moves closer to a partial government shutdown, with House lawmakers in a stalemate.
Violent protests in the northeastern state of Manipur after the discovery of the bodies of 2 students who had disappeared in the month of July. Now, the state has seen a spate of violence between different communities over the past few months.
Let's have a look at some of the other stories making the news. In the Iraqi city of Hamdaniya, mourners gathered to bury the people killed in a fire at a wedding. The blaze killed more than 100 people in the country's biggest Christian town. The fire started when flares ignited a ceiling decoration. The Red Crescent says hundreds were injured. GB News has suspended 2 of its presenters, Dan Wootton and Lawrence Fox, after sexist comments Fox made on Wootton's programme Tuesday night about a female political journalist, which the channel said were completely unacceptable. Wootton apologised for what he called a very unfortunate lapse in judgment. The reporter Ava Evans said she feared for her safety. The channel has opened an investigation. Now to a crisis unfolding in a region disputed by both Armenia and Azerbaijan. The exodus of ethnic Armenians from Nagorno-Karabakh surpassed 50,000 people on Wednesday. More than a third of residents have fled in the aftermath of Azerbaijan's military takeover last week. Many have ended up in the town of Goris. Israel's Supreme Court will hear on Thursday petitions against a new law passed by Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition, which makes it more difficult to declare a Prime Minister unfit for office. The law states that only the Prime Minister himself or the Cabinet can declare the leader unfit, and only due to physical or mental incapacity. The Cabinet vote would then need to be ratified by a 2/3 majority. Petitioners have called for the striking of the law, arguing the legislation was passed solely for Netanyahu's benefit as he faces an ongoing corruption trial. And finally, US astronaut Frank Rubio said it's good to be home. He spent more than a year on board the International Space Station. His 371 days in space set a record for US space travel. Rubio and 2 Russian cosmonauts touched down in southeast Kazakhstan on Wednesday. The crew was set to return 6 months ago, but a leak in their original spacecraft delayed their return.